channeling allows you to really learn, expand, understand new realities. And that, at least for me, becomes really exciting, really empowering. And I feel like there's so much potential here. Welcome to Intuition Unlocked, the podcast empowering empathic women who feel misunderstood, overwhelmed, or disconnected from their intuition, begin to trust their sensitivities, find inner clarity, and show up with embodied, unstoppable confidence in their daily lives. I am your host, Olivia Ashley, an empath and intuitive, and I am so happy you're here. Hello, and welcome to Intuition Unlocked. I'm Olivia Ashley, your host, and today I'm going to explore something that often may feel mysterious or even a little out there, but is truly a gift of being human, and that is channeling. You might have heard that word before and pictured someone going into a trance state or speaking in a different voice, yet channeling can be far simpler and more natural than that. At its heart, channeling is the act of allowing a specific frequency, energy, or consciousness to come through you, to communicate, inspire, and support you. And we are channeling far more often than we realize. When a musician writes a melody that flows through them, or an artist paints something, or when words pour out of you that feel wiser than you expected, those are forms of channeling. It's truly the art of becoming a vessel for creative, intelligent energy to move through you. So in this space, we're going to focus on the loving, supportive, and expansive channeling, that connection that uplifts and reminds you of your truth. So to get started, I want to talk about what channeling really is. And I see that it's about tuning your frequency to connect. So just like a radio station, you can shift your awareness to receive information that's already existing in the field around you. And science even gives us a bridge for this. Our brains naturally enter altered states such as alpha and theta waves during sleep, meditation, or flow. And in these states, creativity, intuition, and expanded awareness thrive. And so it's literally showing us that we can tune our energy and our frequency into other states of being. And so when you're channeling, you're not necessarily stepping outside of yourself. You're stepping deeper into connection with you and then the world around you. And I want to distinguish the difference between intuition and channeling. In many ways, intuition is the gateway to channeling. Your intuition is that inner compass, the sense within you that perceives truth, emotion, and alignment beyond logic. And when you listen to your intuition, you're essentially channeling yourself, your higher knowing, your body's wisdom, your inner guidance. And channeling then extends that awareness outwards. So you're moving it from that internal space, which is connecting to your intuition, to now opening and extending that awareness outward. And your intuition plays a part in that. It's when your intuitive senses begin to pick up and translate information from your outside self into your individual self. And that's often from guides, energies, and beings or consciousness that wish to support you. Through this practice, you become more of an open door. You can become the conduit, the channel for something outside your usual self-system to begin to flow in and connect with you. And this connection allows you to receive information and energy from beyond our conventional notions of time and space, which means that we are touching information that has existed before, will exist after, and can be from sources that are beyond our dimension, beyond this reality. But they're here to help us in our reality, to often give us support, love, insight, creative ideas, wisdom, and we get to be the filter to decide what we take, what we connect to, and be very intentional with that. And so with that, I think the question is, are you channeling consciously with clarity and intention? And I bring that up because often in our culture, channeling can be associated with channeling scary spirits, demonic entities, or just opening up yourself to forces that are negative or not good. And a lot of people get scared and start to think, well, if I open, then I'm channeling something that's not real or is going to harm me. And from my own experience and learning and teachings, and from guiding people on their paths and seeing other people connect, this is where sovereignty comes in. This is where you are allowed to take ownership and power around who, what, when, how you channel. And it's not to say that you're always going to be able to control what comes into your field. As an empath and sensitive, you know this well, that we might take on others' energies and emotions, and you have to work through that. Channeling is very similar. It's a very similar act. And there's so much potential. There's so much beauty, support, love around us that is wanting to connect and commune at any time. So that's where you get to decide how you're going to set up this container and how to do it consciously so you feel supported, grounded, in control, and connecting to the well-beings all around. And I see that when your intuition is strong, when you trust what you receive, you naturally become more open and discerning off the bat. It's that filter of fear is removed because the discernment is what allows you to channel safely and clearly and to recognize which messages are loving, aligned, and true for you. And us empaths and sensitives often find channeling easier once we've strengthened our energetic boundaries and trust in our own inner voice. I really see that the step to channel is honing your intuition, honing that trust and confidence in your voice and your inner self, along with identifying what your strongest clairs are, how you receive and interpret energies and messages. So remember clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, really that knowing, seeing, hearing, feeling senses. When those are open and supported, your channel can become more clear and coherent, and you can more easily discern, decipher, and control your channel. So I get excited and passionate about this topic because this is something that has been super beneficial and supportive in my life as I've opened my own intuitive channels and my psychic gifts. But why should you care about it? Why is this relevant for you? And why is it not just some strange out there practice reserved only for a handful of people? Well, I see there's a lot you can gain. And so before I get into really how you can access and start to channel, if this is interesting to you, let me share a few things that I've seen happen from having a channeling practice. Firstly, you can gain greater clarity. So your intuition is going to help you with this, but channeling takes it to another level. Instead of feeling lost, overwhelmed, isolated, or alone, when you channel consciously, you can open to the wisdom that supports alignment, purpose, next steps, and yourself. You immediately become surrounded by energies, beings, support systems that you never imagined were there or even realized were there, and you were capable of connecting to them. So that leads to a feeling of support. You realize you're never actually alone. You have guides, higher self, nature, animals, plants all around you wanting to connect, ancestors, loved ones, other beings that are all here for you and wanting to support you if you choose to engage and welcome them. And really often I have found that it's not so much you choosing to engage, it's being open to receiving. It's being open to seeing what is possible, what is there, just starting to enact the senses that we often ignore or don't think about. So that also brings forward a lot more fulfillment in your life and even creative inspiration. Channeling is often behind many expressions of art, music, writing, inventions that we come to see, to enjoy and witness and find beauty in. And when you step into being that conduit, ideas can start to flow through you more easily. And that means your intuitive self can become more of a creator a messenger and a bridge to help you with whatever you want. It can be just your day-to-day to connect and say, what do I need to know today? Or what would make today really beautiful? Or if you are working on a project, you can set the intention to connect and get ideas or inspiration and feel like you don't just have to do this all on your own. We're all connected. There's so much energy and the field around us is so great, and we often don't realize our interconnectedness. And with that, another one I see being really powerful with channeling is feeling like you're more embodied and aligned in your being. So many spiritual conversations now link channeling with nervous system regulation, and that makes sense. When you channel from a grounded, coherent state, you're calmer, you're centered, you're grounded, and you're better able to receive without being swept away by the chaos. And on the other end of both being more in your body, you feel like you have more insight or understanding than you ever had before when you are channeling and connected, because it takes those pieces that you think about and it lands them down into your heart and your body and grounds it as truth. It's very experiential. Everyone's experience with channeling, everyone's experience with being an intuitive or just being a human are vastly different. And so you get to really decide and find what your truth is. And that's something that being a channeler has really offered me. And the last piece I'll share is how I really see you can gain more sovereignty and empowerment in your life. Because when you learn to trust yourself, to distinguish your voice versus external influences, and then to choose what you act on and what you don't, and feel supported, feel connected, remember your place in this beautiful ecosystem that is on this planet and at this time, you are able to feel empowered, to feel sovereign, to feel confident in who you are and your choices. And I think that's especially crucial for us empathic women who might feel drained or overly influenced by others, or like we don't know how to fully trust or be in ourselves. Channeling allows you to really learn, expand, understand new realities. And that, at least for me, becomes really exciting, really empowering. And I feel like there's so much potential here as science catches up to what so many of us intuitives and people have felt forever, have known within themselves as empaths, as intuitives, to be picking up on energies, picking up on others, and communing with them and learning from them. That's just truth. And so you don't get as swayed by the external world or by others' influences when you have this empowered, sovereign way about yourself. And I want to touch on quick on trying to break the taboo around this and really show you that it's accessible for everyone. Everyone can be a channel if that is something they're interested in or wanting to, or you're going to be a channel and just not realize that's what you're doing. But every human being has this capacity, and your nervous system and your intuition and your energy field are all part of how you receive frequency and vibration. And being a human means you have a nervous system and this ability, this pathway to receive frequency and vibration all of the time. And because intuition is real and we have scientific research that supports that, we know that we are constantly picking up on non-conscious information. Our bodies, our energy field, our nervous system, we are feeling, we are sensing, we are perceiving at a rate way beyond what we are conscious of. And so, of course, we have to start to think that there are other things that have fields of energy, that have consciousness, that are sending out signals and vibrations that our bodies are attuned to connect and receive, but only if we're really become conscious of them can we start to understand what is being put out and, cultivate a practice around deciphering and discerning what information you want to be more conscious or receive intuitively or channel versus not. And channeling doesn't mean you lose yourself. Again, I think there's that vision of a channeler just lets something else come into their body and they become absent. That is absolutely one form of channeling that can happen, but that isn't what I'm talking about here. It more means you're sovereign in yourself, that you're safe, you're in your energy, and then you expand that reach towards whatever it is you're wanting to connect to. It's not so much about losing control or giving power away or doing weird cult-like things that we see in the movies. What I'm talking about here is more about developing your capacity to receive consciously and choose wisely. That's the most important piece here. You maintain your power and your connection, and you are absolutely in control. And lastly, for many of us intuitives and empathics, we are already channeling and we're doing it in small ways. So that hit of inspiration, the sign that comes forward that reminds you of a past loved one and you receive just a feeling or a message, or the download of an idea, whether it's in a meditation or a dream or an aha moment when you're writing or just out in nature. Recognizing and scaling those things is what channeling is all about. Like you're already doing it, it's just noticing and tuning in even more. So I see this being really powerful right now because if you're here, you're wanting to connect and grow that intuitive voice and feel more confident and strong within yourself. And what I've realized is a lot of that support comes from within. And channeling invites you to take that intuitive development to a different space and level because it lets you open your channel to your highest self, to nature, to your soul's voice, and then decide what you want to do with what you receive and what else you want to explore. If anything, at its core, it will greatly enhance your connection to yourself and your higher self and voice. So with that, I want to talk about how you can do this, not just in theory, but give you a simple structure that you can adopt if it feels right. So the first step is about quieting and clearing yourself. Before you channel, you want to create space. So your mind, body, and your energy want to be in a state of feeling calm and you're feeling open. Because if you're rushing or distracted, your receptivity is diminished and it also can allow for distortion or confusion to come forward because your channel isn't so clear. So tools I like to offer to do this are going for a walk, sitting in nature, doing some breath work, journaling out what's on your mind so you can empty it, and or doing a quick body scan to reset and reclaim and clear your energy field. From there, once you have space, once you're feeling settled in yourself, it's about setting intention and establishing some boundaries. And this can be really simple and be easy. A simple intention that you can set is I am safe, I am held, my well ancestors and guides are surrounding me, and I open this channel to my highest self and my support network of guides for the highest good. Only the highest vibrations of love and light can be in this space. Everything else must leave now. So that's an example intention. You're welcome to set whatever you want for that space. And then ground. Just take a moment to visualize light around you that's protecting you. Send your roots into the earth and feel anchored. This is where I love to hold a crystal, use a pendulum, just something earthly to hold me here and also help me open the space. And know that intention and this grounding has set a boundary for you. Just by doing that, just by claiming your space, being centered, that's going to help you stay in alignment and receive what's in your highest good and of higher vibrations. I think it's also important to distinguish possibly what or who you want to channel. If you're unsure, I would always say start with building a connection to your highest self, to your soul center, and channel yourself, channel your soul, and get really good at knowing what that energy feels like, what that sounds like, feels like, how you receive it, and create a strong relationship with that. From there, if you're still curious, you can start to expand that to your well ancestors or a past loved one, or I really love animal spirits. They often want to come forward and support us in different times or give us messages. and beyond. There's so much available to us. But when you're first starting out, I often recommend that you start connecting to yourself first and then start to notice what comes forward. Or if you're out on a walk, notice the trees, the plants, if there's an animal or a sign that makes you think of someone or something, and then drop in, connect, see what wants to come forward. And then as you move into actually channeling, that's going to be up to each of you how you want to do it. So you can do so by sitting quietly and meditating, or you can get a journal and do automatic writing. I think those two spaces are going to be the easiest and most attainable routes to channel. But you can also go on a walk and channel. You need to be in a state where you can receive and connect and feel like you're in that flow state to gain the greatest clarity and be most comfortable. It's also going to help to ask questions. So I love to always ask, what support do I need most right now? Or what next step does my soul invite me into? Really, nothing is out of range. Just know what you want to focus on and then ask. And use your discernment to see. Always check in. Is this my voice? Does it feel like this is something outside of me? Does it feel expansive and supportive or heavy or fearful? And if you ever feel like something's pressuring you to do something or makes you feel weird, then question that. And I would challenge you to clear that out and say, you know what, you're not welcome in my space and I'm not going to channel this energy or connection, and reset and restart. You are in control. You can cut that connection. And so channel as much as you feel is comfortable and then start to close down. You can thank the guidance that came through, visualize this channel closing, your roots retracting, that light around you staying firm and held, and just knowing that you're grounded and present. I also love to wash my hands after channeling or take Epsom salt baths, just clear my energy, make sure I'm sovereign and back in my own state, and then reflect how it felt and what came up. There's a lot of room to play with it, to grow, to make it your own. And I have found that at first it helps to have a little bit of a ritual and a structure around your channeling sessions, especially when it's new. And then once you get more comfortable with it, you really can channel whenever, wherever, when you really just feel in control, you know how to do it. And that's what I have found to be most supportive for me, and also allow me to have guidance in real time when I can sense something's knocking, or I'm out on a hike and I want to say hello to my favorite tree, or an animal comes by and I want to connect with it and see what it has to offer. So it can become really fluid and simple, but first really establish a practice so you feel safe, comfortable, and in control. So as a reminder, the steps I would recommend are to create space for yourself, get in a state where you feel comfortable and relaxed, and then clear energy and ground, and set an intention that's clear and know what you're wanting to call forward. And then simply open and notice who or what steps forward to come and bring that loving support. But don't get caught up on it. If it feels really resonant, if it feels good and helps you with something you've been questioning, then trust it and accept it. I think we really quickly want to put labels on who is it? What is it? What does this mean? And truthfully, what I found is it's a lot of just having conversations and just getting simple guidance. And I found that a lot of energies and beings and other consciousness are really simple. They're going to come in with this like quick insight and info, or it could be very detailed, but then it's like really pay attention to that. And from there, enjoy the experience and just always know you can set more firm boundaries, lessen your boundaries. You are truly in control of your experience. And if anything doesn't feel right, you close the channel, you clear the space, and you always return back to yourself. So there's so much more I could get into around this topic in my own experiences with channeling and what I have learned and who I channel. But for this first episode, I hope that this brought some clarity and insight into what channeling is, what it can look like, and how you can actually start doing it if you want to. So as you move through this next week, or whenever you feel, if you feel it's ever right, I invite you just to notice the moments that you may already be channeling. Where are you opening, connecting, feeling like there's something that you're receiving or coming through? Because truthfully, you're never alone, and it's just about discerning and picking up on the energy. And remember that your intuition is your bridge, so trust that first. Trust your own inner voice and self first. And know that channeling is simply deep listening. It's truly rooted in love if you allow it to be, and capable of connecting with the unseen in ways that enhance your everyday life. So the more you open to these subtle frequencies, the more you'll feel aligned, creative, and supported by something greater. So thank you so much for being here and for choosing to remember your power, connection, and what you're capable of. If you enjoyed this episode or it resonated, I'd love for you to subscribe to the show and share your experience with channeling. I'd love to hear your own experiences, any questions you have, or stories you'd like to tell. And until next time, continue to stay open, grounded, and connected, and trust the wisdom that flows through you. Thank you for joining me on Intuition Unlocked. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of insight, guidance, or intuitive inspiration. To dive deeper into our community and get access to exclusive content, head to my website at www.olivia-ashley.com and subscribe to my newsletter. You can also connect with me on Instagram at wildlyolivia for daily inspiration and updates. Remember, your intuition is your superpower. Trust it, nurture it, and let it guide you. Until next time, I'm Olivia Ashley, and I can't wait to connect with you again.